put a noose around my neck, hunting vultures as they fly. Every spring a flower blossoms in my head, and every winter time it dies. I've become the hunted. I've become the hunted. I've become the hunted. I've become the hunted. The hunted.
We have an unusual lineup in the top 3 with Hypers on pole. That's the usual bit, but the unusual bit is Brownie slotting in there in P2 with Nicholas in P3 and Infamous in P4. Get ready for an exciting start. Who is going to get the start of Dreams? Is Hypers going to be able to hold it going in towards turn 1? Well, the moment is now. Be ready. And we are go here in France, and Hypers has got a decent start. I think Brownie might have actually got better. He's going to go around the outside of him. Hypers is in serious trouble. Nicholas Longe is trying to get involved in this as well. Hypers is still there, but Brownie is going to hold it. Or is he? No, he's not. He's lost it. Oh, there's a mega issue for him. He dives out of the way of everybody. And somehow Brownie does not cause a major collision through that one mistake. But there is Infamous who's just cut the car under there. Look at that. Already a 3-second time penalty. That is a Ferrari that's gone in there as well. Pampernick. Get on now up in a P4. He's already looking for a great start. There's Vika on the inside in P5. Who'd have thought you'd have said that in Season 4 of RNL, but he's doing it. Vika is closing in on Get On. And I think Infamous is trying to work on Nicholas Longe, whereas Hypers is running away. Oh, but Gooby's got for Yenab. This is an inside line. He's going to get it. What a move. Gooby. Oh, Yenab's coming straight back at him. What a cutback from Yenab. He's still there, but I think Gooby's managed to get P11 secured, or Yenab's going to try and go around the outside. He's got the pace for it. He's getting squeezed onto the curb, and Yenab's still there. He's not out of this at all. In fact, I think Yenab might get it. Oh, there's contact. That's caused Gooby to lose the rear. And Yenab's back in at P11. That was a very close encounter. Definitely a Code Brown, but Dennis is in the pits.
Looks. Gaon says no. Vika says, actually, yeah, you're right. But Gaon is now compromised through the final corner, which means Vika's going to get a better run out of it. Does he fancy a move down the home straight? I think the answer to that is yes, he does fancy a move down the home straight. And he has moved up then to P4. Who thought we'd be saying that at the beginning of this season?
Oh, beginning, middle, end, whatever you want to call it. And then a go for it. There's a swap between race leaders as Nicholas Longe has made it through the inside of Hypers, and that is a change in race lead. Nicholas Longe will try to hold this now, but Hypers is here. He's not going to let him go, and DRS being such a dominant factor on this track.
Zoe's missed out the chicane. He's coming back on. He's going to lose the place to Chris Snyder. Is that Chris Snyder nudge in the back end of him?
I don't think it was. I think it was Zones came off to defend it. Schneider very quickly reacted and dodged.
With that DRS.
Oh!
And nudges back end. That is a big nudge. That's late on the brake. That is big ring damage.
Template gone on that Ferrari. Pampernick in trouble now. Danny goes through. Schneider's looking as well. He's through. His Zone's going to be able to capitalize. Look at the pace gain. Yes, he is. Down the inside. But Pampernick's going to have to really defend if he can keep hold that position. But he hasn't got the wing for it. Oh, he almost lost the car. Pampernick falling to P10 now. It just shows how much you need these end plates. And just getting caught out by the braking zone a little bit there with Pampernick. Oh, he might actually get him here. He needs to get him quickly because that gap in front of him is starting to expand even further than before. They're going to go wheel to wheel. A little bit of clip there between the two of them, but somehow Danico is going to lose his position as Freshnight is through. Very much self-elbows out, and Zones laps that opportunity up as well, and he might get Freshnighter here because they do not have DRS. Oh, sorry, Freshnighter does not have DRS. Zones is very much in that, and he knows it. Freshnighter is in trouble. He hasn't got an answer to this unless he can hold the inside. I don't know whether or not you want to. This is going to be very tight, very late on the brakes, but I think Zones has got it done. Yes, he has. Up now into P6, and he really needs to go and buy a lottery ticket because that works heavily. Freshnighter and Zones are still battling. Freshnighter is right back on him again. Zones is in serious trouble. He's going to squeeze Freshnighter off, and look at Yenab trying to find an inside line. He couldn't get to. He's in trouble. Not going to be able to hold on to his position for much longer if Coffee's got anything to say on it, and Coffee is through. Oh, hey, look at this. Brownie's coming. Hello, Brownie. What are you going to do about this? Oh, there's contact. That was very nearly a moment between the two McLaren and the Williams driver. Brownie's still here. He's still
keep the conspiracies going.
Get-on's lost the rear. Oh, that was so very nearly a massive collision. Preshneider's trying to capitalize on this. Zones ran off the track. And Preshneider, again, he's just kind of hanging in here, not really attacking right now. He's a 10th up. Don't get me wrong. He's feeling very comfortable. But again, on these hard tyres. Yolta, who's also on these hard tyres.
Sorry, get out, nudge. Jones has lost the back end. Close for Snyder. No,
What a catch. What a catch from Zones. Fair play, sir. Keep it up as Schneider again. He's still within the gap as well. How has he done that? He's not lost any time. We have had a change of race leader as Hypers has gone into the pits. He's lost out. Unless he goes for a late lunge, which he's trying, but it's not going to work out. It's so close. A little bit of a contact. That undercut backfired massively. And now, Nicholas has got an even larger gap. Oh, that was Beaker almost losing the relay. Still keeping it with Get Earned, but... Oh, here comes a lunge from Yolta. Where did that come from? Straight down the inside. Beaker's just... Well, there's a Renault here. Where'd that appear? I'll sit here in the back of him and go back on him the inside. He's not going to get it. That was very much a ambitious attempt. He's not happy that Yolta did that, but Yolta did nothing wrong. He said, here comes Zernzen looking for Beaker. The DRS and the toe is going to be huge, and there is the wing open, but he's not gone for mode 4. There it is. He's finally chosen it. I don't think he can get him. He must be on like 11 wings, and Beaker's on 1-1 because he can't get him. He's gone for the late lunge into the corner. A little bit of contact. I say a little bit. A lot of contact, and Beaker's trying to hold him there. Beaker needs to let him go. Just let him go. You're not going to defend this, and all you're going to do is impact your own race. Oh, give us a penalty update, please, Carson.
Nicholas Longe, 3 seconds. Hypers, 0 seconds. Infamous, 3 seconds. Good nowhere.
Beaker's had that happen to him a few times in this race. He's not able to hold it, and you can see there, look at that, runs seriously wide because he's just not got the grip in those tyres to be able to stay alongside him. He knows, I can't battle him. Why not just let him go? He's clearly faster. Just let him go.
Yeah, I'm keeping eyes on the gaps between Zones and Chris Snyder. That's not coming down. That's a let to get owned.
Well, it's actually backfired a little bit. Now, this is it. Look, mode 4, wing open, he's going for it. This is good for Hypers. Hypers just needs to let him by and use that DRS and toe to help manage his DRS and recover out of this now. Infamous might push because he can still gain on Nicholas. This is where Infamous has the opportunity to do way more than we thought was possible. Infamous using... Oh, no.
See?
Let's see.
This is got in Hyper's head. He wants position on track. He's made that decision.
I think he's fine.
Oh, this is it. I'm watching the front. Hypers is going to lose out to Infamous here. This could be the race win being over for Hypers. Infamous is applying pressure.
Oh.
That's a big mistake. No penalty.
Look at the gap. Look at the gap. It's 2.8. We are 0.2 away from it. And I think Infamous is trying to hold him back. It looks like he's trying to impede Hypers as much as possible in order to stop him from getting that. I mean, surely he doesn't know this. Surely there's no way he can read this situation and stop this. It's 2.9. In fact, they're outside of it. He's outside of it. Hypers is outside with 3 seconds on Nicholas Longe.
He's going to live it.
He's going to be furious. There's no way he's going to bring this back. Surely it's 2.9. I can't handle this. Is this going to be close? Here's Nicholas Longe going through the final corner. Could potentially take the win. He will definitely cross the line first, that's for sure. But has he done enough? Infamous is in second place. It's 2.8. Hypers is P2. How did that happen? How? Absolute scenes here in Paul Ricard. I did not expect to see the comeback there. Oh, wow. Yolta will cross the line and take P5 before penalties are applied, and Yenab will take P4. Oh, he snatched it from him. P5. Good job. Zone's P7, though. Get on, will cross and take P8. Is that before penalties? Beaker's P8. Oh, there it is.
Look at
he's lost a lot of points. Wow. Holy. It's time for the F1 cars around the Austrian circuit here in the Rwagnation League Grand Prix. I'm Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me on the caster's desk is the incredible Jamie M. Elder. How you doing?
Not too shabby, Ben. How are you?
I'm not too bad. And you're not a robot, which makes it even better for me. But the driver standings is something we need to get straight into because it is hot. Nicholas Longe, 144 points at the front, especially with his win last week in very dramatic fashion. Hypers P2, Infamous P3, with the Renault boys in 4th and 5th, Geton P6, Buemos P7, Yonti P8, Pampernik P9, and Preschneider with 37 points, currently holding down P10. He only needs to get one more point to immediately jump 3 places. Some idiot is holding best of the rest of the world in P11. That's his actual name, I promise you. Mizzo is in P12 with Copy in 13th. Down 14th with his teammate in 15th place. That is Zones. Danny in 16th with Just Chilling there in 17th. Dennis, Daniel, and Kai hold down the remaining 3 places. This is just where the constructor starts to get even more spicy now. Watch this. Mercedes, 164. They are leading despite the fact that the driver's leader is actually in the Racing Point, who's currently holding down P2 with 144. Haas in 3rd with Renault in 4th. Alpha in 5th. Toro Rosso 6th. Ferrari 7th. Williams 8th. McLaren in 9th place with Red Bull there in 10th place. This is the circuit that they're going to be taking a lot of the battle into. It's 10 turns with 2.6 miles in total, but 3 DRS zones back to back. Different elevation changes throughout the entire circuit, which means going in towards turn 3, we're going to see some hot battles like in the eSport Works hotspots. Now watch this, turn 3, exactly the circuit I was talking about. Look at this, Brownie, Beaker, and Just Chilling. They were looking for a 3-way battle going into it. The 2 Ferrari boys had a moment, but it looked like Brownie got the better of it, as turn 4 is another area we saw Zerd and Gooby have a moment as Zerd sent it down the inside. He just about made it, but there was contact. There was a little bit of elbowing going on, and yes, Zerd did get the position, albeit controversially, as we go on board with Yonti for a hot lap around the circuit. Break at the 100-meter board and get down into gear 4 as you ride the curve through turn 1. Charge up through towards turn 2, which is that little kink on the left-hand side. Then you come immediately up into turn 3. Brake just before the 100-meter board. Get yourself right down towards gear 2. Gear 1 if you feel like you haven't got the turn-in power, as Yonti makes that look very simple now. Charge again. DRS wing wide open as you charge up towards turn 4. Now this is a pretty hard braking zone again, but you need to make sure you trail it nicely as you brake just underneath the Rolex board and get down into gear 2, and then quickly back up into gear 3 to get a good, solid, comfortable, stable exit. Now, charging up to the double left-handers. Make sure you brake just before the red mark on the wall on the right-hand side. Get a good exit, but don't get too good an exit because you need to make sure you stay on the black stuff as he goes through into a nice little small chicane into the final 2 corners. You want to brake just before the 50-meter board, downshift very slightly, and then cut that inside beautifully. Get nicely onto the exit. Again, don't extend because you will get invalidated. And again, through the final corner, do the exact same thing as the DRS is wide open, taking us on to the home straight, where we now move into the official race. So, Hamkase. We had a very spicy F2 race, 2 of them in fact, around the circuit just a minute ago. We are now doing it again, but this time in the F1 cars with very different drivers. Dan obviously serving a qualifying ban due to leaving the race mid-session last time. Give me your top 3 predictions for the end of this qualifying.
It's going to be a tricky one. Such high-paced track. Will people try the tow around here? We've seen the Renaults try it last week in France. Particularly, they were doing it. I think Mercedes were as well. This is a track that you could do the tow on quite feasibly. You've got 3 great long straights. Can you stay ahead of them for that long for time? I don't know. I don't think it's possible to stay ahead of someone for 3 straights in a row. But yeah, I think the tow is going to play a huge factor here. We saw Brownie in France getting second place because he was helped by the tow. He kind of lost out on the first corner, fortunately for him. Can he repeat that? I think Brownie could do well here today if they get the tow. But I think we're looking at...
well, there's your first example there, tow. Look at Geton and Hypers. They've just turned in the lead up towards turn 3. But do you think that Hypers is going to get P1? Do you think that's possible because of the tow? I mean, these are the team that do it.
I think it is possible. I will actually give him P1.
Oh, okay.
I think it's possible.
Good.
I don't think Crow will deploy it. I think he likes to win on his own merits, and I think he might see it as a bit sort of underhanded tactics in order to get the pole position. Sounds just exactly like something he would say, doesn't it?
I mean, the other issue he's got is he hasn't got a teammate today.
That doesn't help. It doesn't mean you can't find a teammate on the track.
Just utilise someone else's tow. It's possible. It has happened.
Find someone on a flying lap and go behind them the whole way.
So Hyper's P1. You go Nicholas P2. Is that your final decision?
Yeah, and P3 will go for Pampernick.
All right.
Mix it up a little.
Interesting P3. Nothing against Pampernick, but there's other favourites I would have said that you would have gone for normally.
I wanted to go for someone different.
Now, my qualifying prediction is going to be very different to the race prediction, and I will explain why later when I'm correct. Okay, that's how confident I'm feeling right now. So Nicholas Longuet will get P1. I'm very confident about that. I think Hypers will finish P3 in the qualifying. I think we're looking at... I can't work out if it's going to be Infamous that's going to get P2 or Preschneider. I mean, this is a circuit that I think favours Preschneider more. So I am going to go with Preschneider in P2, actually. So just to remind you, Nicholas P1, Preschneider P2, Hypers P3. That's my prediction for qualifying, but my race is going to be completely different.
Well, I hope for your sake that you messed this up. It's always fun to see. But we'll see. Dan has that qualifying ban. He has retired already. Daniel hasn't got back in time for qualifying, so he will not be taking part. Yonti is is he finishing a lap, or is he bailed out of his lap? I'm not sure. He must have bailed out.
Yeah, well, he invalidated his first one, and he's already not happy to go again, so I think he just doesn't want to qualify on these soft tyres right now. Anyone else on a hot lap? We do have Zones, who's currently out there, and he is going into Sector 2.
I've been given a weather update.
Oh.
And to get a weather update at this point is big.
Go on then.
Apparently there's going to be rain in qualifying.
In qualifying?
In qualifying.
So people need to get a move on then. They got to really make a decision.
I'm not sure whose engineer this is, but they say weather update, rain in 10 to 15 minutes.
Wow. All right, we'll find out then, I guess. But these guys need to get the skates on then and make sure that they get a time on the board before that weather hits, if it does in fact hit. Because we might see it near the end as Zones is very close to breaking into those 103s. Puts himself solid P2.
The Haas race engineer.
Brilliant. I like that. That's good news for us. But I like a bit to see a little bit of that rain. You know, the thing is, this circuit is very much follows the same sort of weather patterns as like the British circuit. You know, you can get rain at any random point, and quite often it does hit out of nowhere. Preschneider is on a hot lap now. He's just started his second attempt at doing a lap. Copy is also in the same boat, and he's going for another hot lap. Nicholas Longuet.
Infamous, bang.
He's coming for it. Yeah.
Infamous hits the fastest time. He did a really slow first sector, not even a personal best, but nailed it in the second. Second sector, by the way, runs from just before turn 3 to just before turn 7. So it's quite a long sector, the longest of them all.
Right, well, we have a Mercedes coming to line. Is that Hypers? Yes, it is. So he's actually on the hot lap right now. Will he be able to knock Infamous off the top spot right now? And again, knowing the fact that the rain is coming, we know that this is do or die moment. Here he comes. Boom. 103.935. 2 thousandths of a second faster than Infamous.
Try and validate it. Looks, I think, like final sector, but I can't be too sure. Yes, it would have been final sector, otherwise he would have been the purple in the last sector. So he's obviously made a mistake, potentially on that last corner. But Infamous, yeah, had a pole. He no longer has a pole.
Well, Pampernick, somebody who I said, oh, surely he's not going to be in the top 3, is currently sat P3 with a 103.971. He's only 0.04 of a second behind those top 2. I love it when you see someone who you don't normally expect to be in that top 3, smashing it and getting into that top 3. You know, we've seen Yolta do that a couple of times. This is actually a circuit that he's pretty good at, so I think he has a chance to go and deliver. Dennis coming to the line then. He goes P8 with a 104.204. Not quite as quick as he needs to be, but the thing about Austria is that the quality times are so close together most of the time that you can almost guarantee that it's going to be spicy all the way through. Like, of those that have qualified, we're currently looking at all of them being within 5/10.
Yolta and Brownlee doing a little bit of tow down the top straight, let's call it. But yeah, it is now officially, the weather is overcast, 28 in the air, it's dropping.
Yeah.
The rain is on the way. I think that prediction is correct in terms of the weather. It's not the first time I've seen it in Austria, actually. And it does really throw things into question. This is where you can get these unpredictable qualifying from. People are under so much pressure. They've suddenly gone from an 18-minute session to, let's say, 15-minute session. They've lost that last lap. They've got to up their game to get that extra time in. Yes, okay, it's a short lap, so you can almost get an extra run in the entire thing. But
Yeah.
it changes so much about the qualifying just to lose 3 minutes, let's say, off the end of the qualifying. So we'll see. People like Crow, who've invalidated, and so Yonti, they're under a lot of pressure now. They've almost just got to go and get a lap. Doesn't matter if it's the 103s, it just needs to be a lap in the low fours to have a chance of starting somewhere that isn't the last row.
Now, Nicholas is on his way out, so he has got an attempt to put in here. But like you said, time is running out. The rain is on its way, and looking at those clouds changing as quick as they did, there is very much a chance that it could happen in the next lap or two. So everybody who's in the pits, I guess right now, technically, is the calm before the storm, if you think about it, because literally there is rain coming.
Yeah, there is a storm on its way. Let's bring it in the pits. He's done. What about zones? What's he doing?
He's currently running up towards turn 4 right now. Daniel has made it back into the session. There's Yanab getting out of the way. There is a chance then that we might see zones do very well here. I'm looking at lap times and who is currently where. And zones is looking cozy. I don't think he's got pull, but I mean, the thing is, you increase by 1 single tenth, you're immediately up into P3. That's where Zone sits right now. That's how tight this grid is right now. Can Zones make it up into the top 3? That 1/10 will do it, and it will not. Did he invalidate?
22.
No, he actually did improve. He did improve, yeah.
He did, but it was so minor. But he's the top 6 are now separated by less than a tenth. That's what it's mean. Which is quite fun to see. Daniel's gone again. Guess there's no reason for him to be here. He can't do anything. He just needs to be in before.
He can't set up. It's
Infamous coming to the final corners. Where is Hypers? Hypers is on his way as well, and so is Crow. Infamous though, coming towards the line. Short sprint.
Boom.
Done enough.
Yeah, he has. More than enough. So Nicholas, I think, is next to get to the line. We have Samidi as well, actually. I think he's about to do it. Let's have a look. Yes, here he is. Coming up to it then. Has he got enough to get into the top 3? He hasn't. He actually is slightly slower, but has Nicholas. This is it then. No. P18.
It's a lap. It's a lap on the board. It's gained 1 position. Very slow. Hyper smashes it, though.
He really has. Get on, his teammate, is going to be coming as well to start his lap. And Yenab's just done a lap 104.198. Nicholas is weirdly off pace right now. What's happened?
Does he know something we don't about the race? Is it a full wet? And he's gone a full wet setup? Add a little bit of extra wing that's costing him time on these straights? Or is he just teasing us?
I think... I don't know. I really don't know what's going on here. This doesn't make sense. Something is not right, and I can't figure it out. Well,
track is sitting at 20 here, it's still 28. It's not dropping just yet, but it is officially overcast, as I said earlier. The rain should be coming.
Oh, it's falling. It's there. It's there. Rain is here.
Oh, it is. Yes, well spotted.
So this is it then. I think only those that are on hot laps right now. So we're looking at Danico. We're looking at Yolta, for example.
Infamous is done.
Yep, he's had enough. P2 is where he's sitting, currently comfortable. Hyper's P1 right now, and I don't think anybody can knock it down. Get-Un goes up to P7. His qualifying is pretty much wrapped up now then. The track is going to start getting very slippy very quickly. Yeah, Yolta, there is a car ahead of him.
Personal first sector. Keep your eyes on Yeltec. This could be a fairy tale story. Personal best first sector of session best first sector. Bit off it in the second. What can he do?
Come on, Yolta, don't let us down. Oh, I think he just kept himself within those limits. I don't know if that one's off track. Here he comes to the line. Is it enough?
No,
he's too slow.
I think it might have invalidated. He didn't pop the DRS off the final corner.
He was a bit slower than his normal time anyway. Danico is coming in, so he's not improving. Yonti is still there and still going. Has a chance to get into the top 10. This is very uncharacteristic for Yonti. On a track like this is the one that you would expect him to do really well. Get at least into the top 10, at least into the top 8, to be
Crow's
truthfully
coming
honest.
out. Crow is coming out.
Hey, that's ambitious. And Yonti's
Well,
in.
Crow needs to find a second, and he knows what he can do.
If Nicholas pulls a Charles Leclerc and gets a phenomenal grid position because of qualifying under wet conditions, I think Charles Leclerc did it in Brazil, was it? Nicholas was doing it here. Oh, he's lost the rear. No, he must know. He must know this is not doable.
I can see Crow just getting his ego out, ready to start stroking it. The moment he gets pole position, you can see it, can't you?
Yeah.
If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be him. And this is something he would do deliberately. He would know the pace
I don't know if this is going to work. All right, we are getting a lot of people that have said that's it, job done, no more. Here comes Nicholas then to start a hot lap, remember? And I think he's committing to it. I think he may have just got this and next. No, he's still going.
All right. He needs to find half a second, really, just to move up. That would be a huge jump.
That's off track. That's invalidated.
Or not. Going.
It's not invalidated. How is he still going?
We'll see. Time's coming in. He's very slow in the first sector. He's 0.3 off the pace of just chilling ahead of him. He's sliding all over the place.
Yeah, he is.
Track is... Air temperature's dropped down to 27 now. And if those in the pitch could just
he's locked the rears. Yeah, he's locked the rears. I mean, he must know this is not happening. He must know this. There's no way this is happening. Nicholas, I mean, for top marks for effort. But
2 seconds off base, he's done.
This just cannot be happening.
No, he's 2 seconds off base. It's not going to happen. If we can just get Pampernick and Zones and these two.
Oh, that's the time gone. Yeah, it's done. So Nicholas Longate knows now he can improve. P18. Who would have thought at the start of this session we'd have said, yes, Nicholas Longate is going to be starting P18. I said P1. And I could P1 not have been any further from the truth.
I'm happy though. My P3 prediction managed to get P4.
Yeah, I mean, he was. Look how close he was. He was literally less than 100th of a second away from securing P3.
Oh, Jenab's nearly lost it. Jenab has lost it. Never mind.
Oh.
He's going to the beach.
He's doing a Giovinazzi. Enjoying the beach time. I think that was Belgium though he did it, wasn't it? Where he ended up going off at Pouan into the beach. But he's still alive, those Jenab.
Benny corners he went off at, but.
It was Belgium, though, wasn't it? Yeah?
Yes, he definitely went off Belgium.
Yeah, just making sure that I'm not going senile, you know. Just got to make sure my memory's still in check.
I thought it's Blanchimont.
No, I could have sworn
I could be wrong. I've not watched the Belgian race for a while.
Well, there is no gravel at Blanchimont, so it has to have been Pouan.
He went backwards into the barrier, did he not?
I thought he went so fast he went over the gravel and into the barrier.
I can't remember.
Answers on a postcard, please. Meanwhile, Nicholas Longate is still going. I mean, he's only got 41 seconds more to go.
And he's invalidated. DRS has been disabled.
Yeah.
You might as well retire. He can't beat it.
Are we going to see a big crash, though? Trying. That would be...
I think he's just wasting our time on purpose now. And that is something he would do.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's Crow in a nutshell.
Oh, here he is then.
He's out of fuel. If Crow could just retire from the session instead of wasting the next 3 minutes trying to get back to the pits, that'd be grand.
Anytime, Nicholas, would be great. He's going to ping a wheel off. He's absolutely pinging a wheel off.
He has got the pace.
He could ping a wheel off. These cars are fragile. The crash. I had a crash at the Spanish Grand Prix.
There you go. Let me try and ping the wheel off. No, stop. Oh.
Okay.
He just wants the airtime, doesn't he?
Like Nicholas needs anything more to stroke his ego, right?
True.
Come on, Nicholas, you can do this. Press start, go to retire, and then we can move on into the race. That would be great.
Oh, he's parking by the marshals, as he should do. What is he doing?
No, he's not.
I bet you anything. He is sitting there laughing his head off.
Yeah, he's loving it. He's got the stream on one screen, he's got the race on the other, and he's just laughing, going, ha 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 ha.
So, penalty points, yeah, for wasting time?
I think the steward should have him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, he slowed down now. He's going to stop. Retire. The moment think, oh, penalty points on. Actually, no, let's deduct championship points from him and give them to Hypers.
That's a good idea.
That will get him to retire. Stewards, get on it.
This is painful, Nicholas.
We can't move to anyone else, though. That's the annoying
we can just
part.
stare at the crowd. Let's have a look at the crowd.
I can't.
Oh, never mind, we moved. Which means he's got further down the track.
He's got 2 corners to go. He's getting there.
It's mind games, I'm told.
If you're interested, the rear tyres are currently at 65 degrees. But as you go through the pace of that corner, they go up to 66.
Do you want to put money on him stopping before the line?
No one takes those bets. Oh, he's not. He's just crossing.
Hey, we did it. Nicholas Longe finds his way to the finish line in a very amazing P18. Starting to believe this is Nicholas's natural pace nowadays. I guess we'll have to wait and see if he can actually do anything coming into the Grand Prix. But he's got a tough order to do as Veloce Hypers. P1, 103.798 with Infamous very close behind him. Yalta there getting P3 again with a really solid qualifying result, but look how stacked this grid is. Panpenic right there on his heels. P4, Pressure Schneider P5, Zones P6, Get On P7, Buemels P8, Brownie P9, and some idiot rounding out the top 10. Danico gets best of the rest with Yonti there in P12. Yenab in P13, Dennis P14, Beaker P15, Copy was 16th, Just Chilling was 17th, 18th was an individual, and then Nicholas Longe was in last place.
Necro was 18th.
Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for the very long delay. There was a lot of technical difficulties that were being faced, and as obviously we have had to do the rehearse. Now, we are going to do the full race again, but we are not doing the qualifying. So everybody will still obviously start where they started. They have been instructed to start on the top 10, have to start on the tyres they started on. Those outside the top 10 can choose whatever tyres they want to, but we are going to do the full distance again. So those people that were investigated in those incidents, they are now being voided. Nobody is under investigation. So forget everything that's happened. We're going to do it all over again. So be ready. We are in for a long haul, but this is going to be an exciting one to say the least. Get ready. Are you sticking with your top 3 based on what you saw?
Yeah. Because who knows how it's going to play out. I'd think about that. I wasn't entirely convinced, but we'll see. I mean, this is another race, completely. It's not like this is a continuation of the same race. This is a whole new race. I don't think Yonti's going to do a decent drive because he's starting on the softs down there in 12th this time instead of the mediums. But
the one thing to note this time, though, is that we did have Dan in the last race. We don't have Dan this time. We actually have Absinthe this time. So we lost a McLaren. We gained a racing point. So this is actually better for Nicholas, really, if anything, because and his team, because they're going to potentially gain more points than they were before. The one thing to note is Yalta has now sort of caught on a little bit as to what is going on with those guys ahead of him. He now has a chance to really learn from that previous, I guess, race, if you like, if you want to call it that. They were so close together. And this time he can avoid those collisions and making sure he doesn't get caught up in something he doesn't need to get caught up in. Especially the Beyblade that happened on the second to last corner. We'd like to avoid that ideally, but just a reminder that the Driver of the Day voting will open at the beginning of lap 25. So I was right the first time. But yeah, beginning of lap 25, that's when the Driver of the Day vote will open. Obviously, it will be now focused on this race. So make your decisions based on that alone. And we are going to get moving on.
Yeah, minor issue on my side. I've had to reset my telemetry, so I don't have the names in there anymore. But it's not the end of the world. I still know who is in what position and how many penalties they've got.
I love that from P14 onwards, they're grouped together in their teams. That's quite nice. Red Bull, Williams, Racing Point. Maybe a glimpse into what we're going to see when the F1 season does eventually restart again, potentially.
Yeah.
Who knows? Red Bull down in P14, though. That wouldn't be very nice, would it? The third to last constructor. That would be pretty tragic, to say the least. Right then, the Racing Point boys are just slotting into their grid spots. The lights are about to appear. There they are. And Hypers will hopefully get another good start then. Nicholas Longate's jumped the start. He's already got a drive-through penalty. The race has not got better for him, but he is looking to get some positions gained. He is going for a huge send down the inside. Hypers has managed to lock that one down. He's not going to lose any positions there. Nicholas Longate's got caught up in a little bit of contact between him and the Haas of Yonti, but he's still alive, and I don't think he's got any wing damage. No, he's kept it clean. He's right there on the back of Yenab. Yenab's trying to hold the inside as much as he can, and I think we're going to make it through turn 3 relatively unscathed. Everybody's alive.
Yeah, I didn't see any wings flying off this time, unlike last time for Brownie, I believe it was. So he'll be happy with that start. That's much better than previous, as Nick Longaite going down the inside again of Beaker this time, and actually holds it. So up to 15th, he does have a drive-through penalty. When he serves that, it's going to be, has to be within 3 laps, so going to have to be quite soon.
It is indeed. Now these guys really need to pay attention to those distances. They need to make sure they stay within that 1 second margin throughout the first 3 laps. They need to get to the DRS zone and then not lose it, because as soon as you hit lap 3 and you lose that DRS, your race is done. There's no way to recover from that, as everyone else will just tow away from each other. And Hypers obviously sets the fastest lap of the session so far. That is actually Yenab and Yonti going side by side, coming up towards turn 1, but Yonti does get the better of it and will stay P12. I'm looking for Nicholas. He's served it immediately.
Yep.
And he's on his way back out again. Well, yeah.
Serve it immediately and try and get yourself back onto the rear of the guys in front and benefit from that DRS. As and Yonti, there's a spun Ferrari. Danico has spun it. That's going to help Crow out. I thought I saw some wing damage. There is some wing damage in the middle of the track. Black wing damage.
No, it doesn't look like it. He's got everything on his car. If it's black, there's a potential that it is a Red Bull. It is. It's Beaker. First person to go to. Right end plate is missing. So it looks like he got caught up in it. Or
why did you go straight for Beaker?
Who knows? No reason. Preschneider is P4 with Pampernick sitting there in P3. So Yolta's had an issue where he lost 2 places. In fact, if we look at the position changes, currently the biggest winners are tied. It's Yenab, Just Chillin, and Absinthe. They've all gained 2 places. The biggest loser so far is Danico due to that massive spin.
Beaker and JC exchanging blows big time there. Both survive as it looks like the Racing Point just went straight on, and that would have been Absinthe. But yeah, JC and Beaker big coming together with wheels.
Watch out for Preschneider 1 second, because he's going for a lunge down the inside of Pampernick. That's into turn 3. Oh, back end steps into the side of the Ferrari, and it is a position change. And I think Yolta might actually go for this as well. Yes, he is. He's taken the outside line through turn 4. Don't think Pampernick is going to have an answer to this. Or yes, he is. He's later on the brakes. That means he runs deeper. Yolta tried the cutback. It did not work out, and Pampernick will stay P4. And that was an ambitious attempt by Yolta to take the outside, but I guess Pampernick just didn't really give him much of a choice other than to do that. Yeah,
Balls has actually got a red cross by his name. That's not a good sign. Hopefully he can sort out his connection. Because if he's jumping all over the place in front of some idiot. And not a good sign for him. Hopefully, as I say, you can sort that out and keep on going. As it's starting then of lap number 4. It's still very tight the whole way down to 12th place with Yonti.
Right now, we saw Infamous go for a pass on Hyper's last time out. Now we're going to see him do the same thing. He's in mode 0 already. Hyper's is not really needing to do anything here. He's just kind of relaxing, just putting his feet up a little bit, just doing normal lap times and turning that ERS off as much as he can. He is 64% in 60. Now he's down less than that as we come towards turn 4. So he needs to just monitor that a little bit. Don't give too much away. But if you can hold this down, might be alright for a few laps more.
I think he's trying to do what he didn't do last time. Just burn off a little bit more to stay ahead. Obviously, you look at Infamous behind, he's currently on 94%. Hypers is on 70%. Big difference there.
Well, this is the thing. This again is where those that are in P2 on this track, they are always the ones that control the pace. They control everything here. You decide how much pressure you want to put on the guy ahead, and this is where Hypers needs to not lose his focus. He needs to remember what this track is all about. Keep an eye on your ERS. If the driver behind you is absolutely tearing it, let them past. Just follow them in their toe. Use and it's exactly what he's doing. Infamous is through. Same place, same time as the last race, and Hypers will stay P2. No, this time, no punt in the backside for Hypers, so no panic attack, no code brown, as Preschneider's half a second back. I think that this is going to stay like this for now, as Yolta coming up to the back of Pampernik. Going to be any changes? I think not.
No, we're all looking good as we are. Dennis and Copy swapping places. They've just come off turn 3, going towards turn 4 for them. Copy's not going to make a move there. So Dennis has got the whole P14 for a little bit longer.
Yeah, looking at the gap now between Just Chillin' and Yonti, that's a 4.6 second gap. I think that contact that he had with Beaker earlier was probably what knocked him so far back now. But these guys that are in the top 12, they're all still within DRS.
JC doesn't have damage, just doesn't have race pace. He hasn't got DRS, so he can't stay with the guys in front. And he's going to come under pressure shortly, potentially, from Dennis. Well, Dennis has said that, falls back and goes in the pits. Very early pit stop. Must be some damage on that car.
Either that or uncomfortable. Maybe he's destroyed his tyres so far and now he feels as though he's making a big mistake, so has to go on the hards. But I guess we'll see later on. We've seen 2 drivers already gone to the hards, that is Beaker and Absinthe, and now both Red Bull drivers have gone for a very difficult strategy for them to pull off. Hypers is back into his comfort zone, and look at the ERS levels between them now. Now things have balanced out. Now Hypers is in a much happier, much more comfortable pace where he can see the car ahead of him and decide who is going to be race lead later. I think Hypers is going to play this patiently. He knows he has to. He just has to make sure he watches his mirrors, because Preschneider is one to send it should he get an opportunity.
Yeah, Dennis replaced front wing, by the way, in his pit stop. Come out ahead of his teammates still, but going to have to do 30-odd laps on these hard tyres. And I think for his sake, he's going to hope for a safety car later on. And he can sliding through corners.
I've got a feeling we're not going to see a safety car today. I genuinely don't think we're going to see one. I am worried for Yolta though. He is absolutely crucifying his ERS right now. He's trying so hard to get onto the back of Pampernik and potentially do something about it that he's actually just melting it away. 32% as we come up towards turn 3. It makes you wonder, like, where is... Oh, and he's had a little touch with Pampernik. That's how much pace he was gaining there going into it. Yeah, Yolta's just getting a little bit hot going into turn 3, and it's a problem for him.
Yeah, he's got some, what I'll describe as Beaker levels of ERS. Not a lot.
Yeah.
Beaker seems to make it work, but Yeltsin's got a lot of pressures to do. As we're starting to get towards the pit window for these softs, majority of the drivers will be sitting at around 40-35% on their rear tyres at this point. So they are going to start to look towards when to come in, who they're going to undercut. Could we see Hypers come in early and undercut Infamous and get a big lead on him? So that's what he really wants. He wants to come in a lap or 2 early and build over a second lead. But he won't have DRS to help him do that anymore.
So he I'm just watching Yolta and the way that he's attacking the track right now. It looks like he's panicking about losing the DRS. He's so worried that he's going to get sent on, or that he's going to just drop outside of it, that he is burning everything away. Still 35%, and that's after the braking zone of turn 3. Like, this is the worry.
Yeah, you've got to do what you've got to do to try and stick with these guys. If you lose that DRS, you are just going to be a sitting target for get owned, and potentially zones off this bad drive off the corner he has. But even then, I mean, they may then have the pace to catch up with Pampernik. They may not.
Well,
but I mean, Pampernik, looking at him at the moment, he's about to lose DRS himself. So
this is it. Yolta's now in a concern. I don't think he's seen it yet. It's whether or not his race engineer is telling him. I mean, he should be, really, but whether or not his race engineer is actually communicating to him to let him know, you're about to lose DRS to this train if you don't get past Pampernik. And now Yolta's saying, well, I don't have the ERS to do this. What do I do here? Because Pampernik's eased off the gas. He actually isn't really burning his ERS, although he has now just shifted up to mode 4, because I think his race engineer said, okay, you got to go now. You actually can't slow down. There's going to be a mega problem if you fall outside this DRS. And suddenly, the pace has been closed up. He's 8/10 as it goes into it, and now he's down to just under 7.
Yeah, but he hasn't got much of a slipstream back there as Pampernick. He's only got the DRS to help him, and that's where he's losing out to the guys in front. DRS is one thing, slipstream is a completely separate thing. And if you have both, you're laughing. If you only have one, you can't do that much. And he actually lost time to Presnida on that straight because Presnida's got a double slipstream, and he pulled out a 10th on that straight alone. If Pampernick can keep where he is, he should catch up, but it all comes down to these corners here.
Now, again, my question is going to be around strategy. You know, undercuts are something that people may try here. Personally, I think it's suicide if you go for an undercut, as some idiot has decided pit time is now. So he's decided at the beginning of lap 10 that he's going to chuck off those soft boots and maybe put on some, I assume, mediums.
Yeah,
logically you'd have to. Nicholas Longe, 3-second time penalty. I think that's the first, isn't it? Isn't that the first penalty on the board?
No.
Or am I hallucinating?
No, you've just not seen them.
Okay. Maybe it's time for a penalty rundown, since it looks like we're not going to be seeing any position changes anytime
Let's
soon.
wait for the soft people to do their thing.
All right. Good call. Let's go.
We are in
Alfa
the pit
Romeo
window
both
right
pit,
now.
by the way. Samidia and Yenab have both pit.
This is the pit window. It has opened lap 10. Tyres for majority of these softs are going to be sitting, getting towards 45 to 50 now for these rear tyres, so they are going to be feeling a little bit slippy slidey out there.
Now, are we seeing a Polar Express level DRS train right now? Because it feels very much like the train conductor is infamous, although Zuns is in. Zuns is in as well. Okay, 3 people. Pampernick in as well. Zuns, Brownie, they're all in. So we're seeing the pit lane light up now. It's whether or not Hyper's done the right thing. It looks like he's stuck to the back of Infamous. I wonder where they're going to come out. That's the bit that's... Is he going to make it right behind Copy? I think Copy will just slip on by as they come out. Yep, there he is. It's going to be marginal. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so Copy's just slipped on by. Infamous is there. They've got DRS against. Infamous actually is... oh, and Infamous, sorry, hasn't got it. It was Hypers I was looking at. My apologies.
Well, Infamous will have it right here.
Yeah, he will.
So that's worked out really well for Infamous. He's going to be able to save up a bit of fuel and ERS now while he's in the slipstream. And the DRS. Hypers won't be able to do much.
Well, he doesn't need to. That's the thing. That's the problem that Infamous has got. So all this is doing is just helping Infamous recover his ERS. But the second that these guys that are ahead of him, so like Copy are just chilling, and the others that are in the top 5 that haven't yet pit, when these guys end up chucking themselves into the pit lane and getting out of the way, Infamous is right back to where he was before. As Preschneider and Yolta in. And we're going to see now whether the overcut can work, because Preschneider is now in. I don't think it will. I think if you don't pit with those guys ahead, I think Preschneider is going to come out outside of DRS.
You think he's going to come up behind Crow?
Yeah. I think he's actually going to lose, because he was on the back of Hypers. I think he's going to lose to Pampernick at least. Whether or not he's going to lose to Nicholas, I don't know.
Speed now. He's on the inside of this corner, actually.
Oh, actually, Pampernick is going to be very close. No, I was completely wrong. Pampernick is actually going to be going side-by-side, drag racing up towards turn 3. And it's... Oh, I was right. No.
The overcut worked.
Oh, no, because he was actually... Preschneider was P3 behind Hypers. Pampernick is now ahead of Preschneider. He's put a car between them. Pampernick is actually better off now. Yeah, the overcut didn't work. It backfired. Although Preschneider's going for a send in towards turn 4. That's a lunge and a half, and I think he's pulled it off. Yes, he has. No contact for him and Pampernick. Yolta, very much still within the DRS, has actually reset Pampernick and Yolta. That worked out quite well for them.
Yeah, I mean, they're still within DRS of Hypers, so Preschneider's overcut hasn't been an issue, or Pampernick's undercut hasn't really caused any issues. Going to bobbles are also coming in, the current race leaders, which put JC up into the race lead, potentially. Yes. I'm just watching him on the map. He's going through. So they need to catch up to JC to benefit from that slipstream.
Yep.
Hypers is all over the back of him, but still.
Indeed. Okay. Well, I mean, the thing to worry about now is this train behind, because Copy... Look at this. There was a snake and a half there behind. As you can see, Nicholas Longe is going to have to try it, but nope, he's decided against it. And Hyper... Sorry, I cut you off because Hyper's sent a move on Infamous.
He did. He's up into effective race lead. It's 1.8 seconds off the back of JC. Infamous is going to try and come back. No, he's not. To that. And So Hypers is still race lead for now as Beaker's retired. That's an interesting place to retire. That's on the exit of the pit lane. And he hasn't pitted.
No, it looked like he just got a bit accelerator happy coming through turn 1, and then boom, off he goes.
Well, that's Beaker's not having a good day. Retired lap 13. We got further than we did last time on this race, so that's a good sign. No safety car either.
No, not yet at least. Like I said earlier, I genuinely don't believe we're going to see one. But now I'm worried for Hypers. My worry is he going to do the right thing here and sit properly with his ERS? He's doing well. He's currently in a solid place. Yeah, and if he closes in JC, he's going to be able to recharge it a little bit and hold P1 for a little bit longer. But I don't know. This is a problem. I'm interested, though, to hear what your predictions are going to be. So Twitch chat, get active. Let's see what you've got. Who's P1, who's P2, who's P3 at the end of this Grand Prix?
Well, the checker flag falls after JC goes in the pits. That's my prediction, correct? That was Hyper's infamous Schneider, wasn't it? That was my prediction. Yeah. So I'm looking good at the moment. I'm sticking with that. I'm not planning on changing that. If Hypers can get himself in front of JC after the DRS line, which is going to be crucial because it's very close, then he's got a blockade between himself and Infamous, which is going to help him. A slower blockade.
Right.
He needs to do it at the exit of turn 4.
Somebody is in trouble right now. He needs to get a move on. He needs to find a way past Copy. Everybody else passed Copy at a perfect opportunity, but if he doesn't pass him now, all right, this is it. This is where some idiot loses the train now. Geon's got a penalty, which will help out for him, but look at the gap that Copy's got to get on. This is 8 tenths. This is where somebody is losing out. There's actually Infamous and Just Chillin' are going side by side throughout. Just Chillin' will filter into P3, but if you keep a firm eye locked on some idiot who's trying his best to get past Copy and he just can't do it, that gap is now over a second. Copy has really held some idiot back there.
Crucial move from Preshnada. Just there, you would have missed it. He's got past JC to keep on the tail of the front 2. And that's good news for Preshnada because he's now got a car between himself and Pampernick. If the front 3 can pull away, then he's got a chance of breaking that DRS to Pampernick. But it's not going to happen by the looks of things unless JC... No. So Preshnada wanted to break that 1 second window, which would have been beautiful to do. And those front 3 could have just walked off into the sunset. But it's not going to happen this time. And Pampernick is closing up on JC. Not going to get this time. He's got to make this move soon, because as I say, if those front 3 break the DRS to JC, Pampernick's hopes of podium are walking away.
I mean, it's literally an exact replication of what happened to Samidia. He was stuck behind Copy. Yes, he's passed him now, although that is JC getting very much out of the way, unintentionally, I think, but that's allowed both Pampernick and Yalta to get by. They've stayed within the DRS trim, but now look at Samidia. He's having to push hard just to get himself back into the DRS range. 25% ERS on Samidia's car. That's just how much he's using to try and get back into Geton's DRS. And that's only really for a battle for P7 if you think about it, because it's a 1.7 gap between him and Just Chillin', and Just Chillin's 15 laps in on these mediums. So go figure.
Yeah, Nick Longue is there as well. He's in P8. He's 15 laps in on his mediums. He has served drive-through already, and it's managed to recover quite well, but he does have that pit stop to make, which will drop him a whole way, probably down to 17th or 18th when it happens. And in terms of penalties, we've not done a rundown as yet.
Yeah, hit me.
The entire top 7 are penalty-free at this precise second in time. Crow has 8 on Nick Longue.
8?
Sorry, 8. He is P8. Sorry, he has 3 seconds.
Okay.
But, hang on.
Race leaders just swapped places. Infamous is up in a P1 now as Hyper's kind of just let him by, and I think that was the right decision there. Now, looking at the ERS usage, it's not that different, honestly. Hypers is only a few percentage away from Infamous, so whilst he was in race lead, he did maintain that. But now Hypers has to sort of apply pressure to Infamous, make him kind of worry a little bit as to, well, how do I manage this now then? I need to keep the pace up. Hypers needs to scare Infamous, honestly. He needs to scare him. Pass Infamous, turn the ERS up to mode 5, do a singular hot lap, and just drive, right? If you can just blitz away, perfect. Infamous will then have to charge after you, look for his ERS, and I think that is where Hypers could dominate here. I think Hypers has got something that Infamous just doesn't quite have today, and that is a big set of cojones.
He needs to make that move at turn 4 though, because otherwise he'll be straight in that DRS. Or make it into 3 and make sure you have DRS on the exit. That will help you out a little bit. As Yelta picks up a penalty, first of those top 5 to pick up a penalty.
Yeah.
Looks like I had 3, not 8. He is position 8. I don't have names in my list anymore. They got removed when we rehosted. So that's what confused me. Get Owned has 3 as he just gets past the zone.
Oh no, that's Nicholas! Nicholas has made a big mistake going through turn 3. He's rotated the car and he's dropping. He actually had contact with another car on the track, and I think he's managed to escape wing damage. Yes, he has, but he's back down in a P15. A very uncharacteristic mistake there from Nicholas.
Wait. Zones 3 seconds. Get Owned 3 seconds. Yonti 3. Crow, as you just mentioned, had 3, and Danico also has 3. Absent down in 18th has 6 seconds. As Yonti's trying to make moves on Yenab here. Ooh, nearly taking out Crow at the same time. As Bombers has once again got the red X of death by his name, which means his connection is a bit iffy.
Oh,
And
Copy went for a move. Is he
Upton.
desynced?
He
has to be.
No, he can't. You don't spin if you're desynced.
I've not seen him spin yet. I've only seen him just have a contact.
Bombers is currently off track.
Maybe for you. He's definitely desynced for you then. And
he's just jumped from being off to being in front of the Copy.
Yeah, but he wasn't off for Yonti. Yonti actually drove to avoid him, which has allowed Nicholas to be even closer than he was before. This is an interesting situation, but Yolta on the back of Pampernick still 1/10 separates the two of them. He's literally in his gearbox now. Yolta smells blood. He also smells fear because he knows that DRS gap is getting larger. Pampernick had an issue in the last race where Yolta fell outside of it. Oh, that was a mistake. He almost lost it. Pampernick gets the penalty, so he's now matched Yolta in that respect. He needs to find a way past him, or Pampernick needs to push. Either of those needs to happen, but it needs to happen right now.
Yeah, I'm on board with Yelta. He's on the rear of Pampernick. 7/10 off the back of Bresnida here. Yelta needs him to fall back. He needs him to make a mistake, so he can fall outside the DRS of Bresnida, but it's not happening anytime soon. And that gap is just too big for Bresnida to close up. So the front 3 are going to start walking away potentially if Bournes does come into the pits. Is that a sign that he actually just picked up damage? 7 laps in, I think it is.
Couldn't tell you, honestly.
Yeah, he's getting a new front wing, so he's definitely picked up damage as a result of Copy.
Right, Yolta's been dealt a lifeline. Pampernick turned the wick up. He's now closed in a bit more. Infamous obviously back into where he was before in race lead.
Copy on 2.
Yep.
And Yenab just off the back of him as well, looking to take advantage of this. With 8% ERS on Yenab. He's going hard.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Going home. He's going hard.
Oh,
Just going hard. He hasn't gone home though.
he almost went into the wall. That's exactly where he nearly went. I mean, like you said, ERS levels are really low, so he is trying to push. But ultimately, all he's doing is trying to keep with Yonti, because that's the only gap and only potential points position you could possibly have here. And given the fact that Yonti is on the hard tyres 8 laps in, he's obviously going to the end. I don't think Yenab is going to have any chance of getting into some points positions now. Alpha are realistically only looking at a P9 from Samidia right now, unless he could pass Just Chillin', who's 20 laps in on his medium, so he's going to have to pit at some point.
Yeah, well, you've got Just Chilling's going to pit and Copy's going to pit. That's for sure, in front of Yenab. So he'll get P11 with that, and if he can stick with the guys in front of him and avoid penalties, because Yonti does have a 3-second penalty, he has a chance of just nicking that P10 at the checker flag. So watch this space is all I'm going to say at this point, because who knows what happens in the remaining few laps.
Yeah, there's a possibility. I mean, Yenab would need that to really work in his favour, but again, he's not really in DRS. He's sort of in the DRS of Copy, but Copy's losing that DRS to Yonti quite rapidly. Those 20-lap-old mediums are really not working that well for him. As Just Chillin' is the best of the medium runners, that started on the mediums, that is. And he's currently loving life.
You say that, but I know the percentages of his rear tyres. I'm
He's
not giving him out
life
at this point.
in terms of his position.
Yeah, he does, however, have some idiot on his rear who will want to get past shortly. And just feeling he's not picking up DRS at all from the guys in front.
Yellow flag.
set
That's the
2.
racing point. It's not Nicholas. That means it's Absinthe who had an issue. He's recovered. I don't Does he have wing damage?
I don't know, but somebody has just gone
yes.
past JC up into P8.
Yep, Absinthe has a missing right end plate, so left-hand turns are going to be a problem for him. We'll keep an eye on that later on, see if he can avoid any further issues, but he is close to being lapped now. If you look at the minimap in the bottom right, you'll see that the gap is very narrowly closing in. Pampernik is almost outside of DRS again. Look at 7/10 is the gap. Absinthe has retired. He's had enough of his race.
Yep, not surprising. If you just made a mistake and you last, there's not a lot you can do from there, is there? But it's going to be. I think this is going to be a very interesting last couple of laps once we get to that point. Front five are all in DRS of each other. The train is chewing on, and it could be a case of who dares wins here.
Yeah.
As long as you don't take out the opposing driver. It's JC Pitts, 61% he had on his rear tyres.
That's comfortable. That's comfortable. He's still at another 9% now as the race leaders are swapping places. Hypers has decided to go through, and he now takes race lead. I'm looking at his ERS levels. He's much better off than Infamous right now, and this is the time for Hypers to run away. If Hypers decides that he needs to just push, he could do this and just see where it ends up. I think if Hypers decided, I'm just going to take off now, I don't know what Infamous would do about it. They both have good ERS levels.
Yeah, you say
really got much of a choice.
It's better, but it's 5%. That's not really enough to pull away.
No.
If it was 25%, yes, you could pull away. But 5% is negligible.
But it's whether he can catch Infamous sleeping is more the point. If he uses that ERS to just bomb it away and just break a gap, his Hypers gets a penalty. That is quite worrisome for him, but he has to stay focused. This is, again, where you'll see the difference between those that are experienced racing drivers and those that are new to this, or newer to this. If you break that mentality, you're in serious trouble coming into this.
Well, if these front three were to decide between them just to go for it, they could break it to Pampernik. Pampernik is sitting low on ERS. He's at 41%. Yeltsin's not that much better. If the front three decide to go, they all break away. They've just got to make a team effort, really, and go, right, guys, let's go. Let's just break away from Pampernik, and they'll get there.
Yeah.
So they're teetering on the edge of breaking it already. Look, 7/10 is the gap going through the middle part of the track. They'll get towards 8/10, but they need to make a sort of a team effort together to make that move. Because,
well, to be honest, it's mainly Yolta that needs to worry, not really the top three. They can just do what they want. They can enjoy this. Presschneider's got to focus on Infamous right now, as it keeps changing between him and Hypers. The focus that Hypers has is if Pampernik drops out of DRS, Yolta drops out of DRS. And that's where he's going to end up with some serious problems coming into this later on, as the Driver of the Day vote is now open. So type !vote in the chat if you'd like to cast your vote as to who you believe is your driver of the day. Seeing Infamous, I'm not seeing that gap really changing, as Presschneider almost ran into the back of Infamous there. That was very nearly a big collision as Brownie and Zone swap places. Zone's up now into P6. Brownie slots in behind him quite nicely, and again, look at the difference in ERS levels. It's sort of favoured towards Zones a little bit, but that will change as the DRS in tow is so strong. Brownie can just recover everything and take it back later.
So if you had to make a call at this point of the race, who's your driver of the day?
I
know it's really hard to decide at this point, isn't it?
It is very difficult because there's not really been any sends or any sort of mega position changes. I mean, JC has done 5 places gained so far from the beginning of his race, and that's more of a strategy call, if I think, than anything. Right now, I would probably give it to JC, but he does still have to do an additional 10 laps on the softs. I think he's fast. I think he will be able to get Danico. Whether he can get Yonti, I don't know, but if I have to choose, I guess you go Hypers. But Infamous is on the back of Hypers again. Decided not to go this time. Look at his ERS. That's how easy this is if you're in that DRS.
Yeah, Infamous is pushing 100%. Hypers is trying to push 60 at this point in time. Hypers is trying to go, and Infamous is saying, no, you can't. I'm not letting you. You can see it. Hypers, the bounty's burnt off at this last lap. Hypers wants to go.
He does. I mean, the worry he's got now is that 3-second penalty. I think if you're in Hyper's position, you let him by, and then apply pressure and make them make mistakes. Cause them to get those penalties. And that's really realistically all you've got. Yolton knows now it is absolutely time for me to go. I have to pass them quickly because that gap was almost outside of that 1 second margin. Pampernik is hanging in, is the word I would use.
Just about, yeah. It's quite crucial as well that they do. Pampernik and Yelta do have penalties. Hypers has penalties, but the other two don't. So they kind of want to step up so they can be a part of this, just in case Hypers picks up another penalty, let's say, and they don't. They have a chance of taking the podium if they finish 4th.
Yep.
They just need to up their game. And I don't think we're seeing many threats from Zones or Brownies. They're well off the pace at the moment. Nearly 6 seconds back, but...
Nicholas! That's a pit lane retirement. He's had enough. P16, well P17 now at best, and that... Interesting, so 0 points to the Racing Point driver. He will not be getting any advancements, and as it stands right now, Hypers will retake the the Drivers' Championship lead.
Well, the next few laps will determine that. We are about approaching lap 28 of 36 then. Front 5 all within DRS of each other. Yellow in sector 1, that is Crow's car. It's actually been thrown out onto the track in front of our race leaders. Oh, good old AI.
Well, I mean, he stayed out of the way, at least, and they are pulling to the side. Are we going to see a safety car as a result? If we see a safety car, Hypers is in even more trouble than he was before. Look, Hypers is doing the right thing. Hypers is doing what I was just saying. He's sitting on the back of Infamous. He's let Infamous by. He's sitting on the back of him and now applying pressure. Just stay right there with him as Yolta and Pampernik are swapping places, or at least trying to, as Yolta's trying to get around the outside. He took the inside first, and now he didn't get that move done, so he's having to stick to the outside. The worry he's got now is the more you battle with the driver ahead of you, the more chance that gap is just going to increase. 8 tenths right now, very nearly at that 1 second margin. Yolta's in trouble.
I think he's realised that he has to go for it. He has to get past Pampernik if he wants a chance at a podium here today. Pampernik, he's not dropping off, but he's not stepping it up. He's not applying pressure to Presnida.
Yeah.
If I was in Presnida's shoes, I wouldn't care about the guy behind because he's so far off. And you've got double slipstream. He's only got one, effectively.
Presnida is biding his time. He absolutely could have gone full balls to the wall in this and just gone for that move on Hypers, gone for the move on Infamous and just carried on fighting. But he doesn't have to. He really doesn't have to at all. He just needs to sit there and wait for them to do something themselves and then attack later on in the session. Hypers realizes his problem though. He realizes if I want to do something about Infamous, I have to cause him to get a penalty somehow. He needs to feel the heat. He needs to be stuck in the oven and get a penalty.
He also is applying the heat to Pampernik's rear end at the moment. If you were to make a prediction of how we currently sit, what would be your top 3?
Take the penalties out of the equation, Hypers P1. Put the penalty back into the equation, Hypers not even in the podium. Right now, he's outside of it. Pampernik's broken that. He's outside that 1 second margin now. Yolta's in trouble.
He's still on the podium because Pampernik and Yelta both have 3 second penalties.
Then I take that back. Hypers P3. Presnida P1, Infamous P2, Hypers P3. If the penalties stays included.
Wow. I think I'm almost agreeing with you, but Presnida he has bided his time the entire race. I think it's because he can't get past.
No, absolutely not.
I think it's going to be Infamous Presnida Hypers. But then I do remember Monaco with Presnida, so anything is possible at this point.
Exactly. And this is it. This is the thing, is these guys, I genuinely don't believe we're seeing anywhere near the potential that any one of these three drivers can check.
Sorry, update for you from the Haas Jeff team. Haas Jeff team? Haas is Jeff. Infamous has a DRS failure.
Well, luckily for him, he's P1, so he didn't have to worry about that right now. But does the other guys around him? Now they know this. Now they know that Infamous has that technical failure. Hypers can just pass him and run. Hypers has to pass him now and run. Right now, home straight, go. Mode 4. No. Yeah, that's a bit late on that. You got to just bullet past him.
I don't know. Have they got a Jeff in? Is it Jeb's their Jeff?
Jeb is their Jeff. Come on, Hypers. Yep. This is your time to run. He knows it. Infamous, are you going to defend this? Are you going to go for the inside? He's not. Hypers has gone for the send. He's going to hold it. Is this going to be tight? Yes, it's gone for a very tight line. Puts Infamous right onto the exit curve. This is allowed Preshneider through. And now Hypers is in a whole different world of pain because he knows,
DRS as well.
What do I do? How do I get past this? Preshneider's getting defended on the inside. Preshneider's still stuck inside. There's contact into the two of them. Hypers holds it. He's still P1 and Preshneider's trying to stick it out. Infamous, he's coming to get back on the inside of Preshneider. This could go seriously wrong. Hypers has to run. There is no way that Preshneider can keep this, surely. Infamous is stuck there. There's no DRS through this entire final sector. Hypers is breaking away. Half a second now. Can he break the 1 second margin? He has to go. He cannot wait any longer. And the gap is closing in. Preshneider is going to be the one that makes that difference maker now. It's whether or not Infamous gets dropped off now.
Yep, he's not using that DRS. That is confirmed that he's not got DRS at this point. He is dropping back. You can see it almost immediately as soon as they started getting the power down. And he just started to pull back. He does have slipstream, but this time's got slipstream and DRS. And you can see the gap is increasing from Infamous. Yeah. And that was all triggered by the one DRS failure. Hyper saw an advantage and went, I've got to take this now. And Yelta has taken his advantage on Pamponic and up to P4. They've dropped back quite substantially with that. You see how much that DRS helps?
It's crazy.
It's now 2 seconds off the back, and these guys were just scrapping.
But Hypers can't stop. Hypers cannot stop. He has to keep pushing because realistically, he's fighting for a P2 position right now. That's what he's fighting for. He knows the penalty is still going to be applied. He knows he can't really do anything better than get that P2. And what he has to do is get Preshneider outside of Infamous's DRS, right? If he can stay outside of that by the time Infamous's DRS gets repaired, good. Happy days. They can start to sail off into the sunset and hopefully break that 3 second margin. My worry is, in order for them to do that, they're at a point where they would need to pull a 1 second gap per lap in order to break the penalty marker on Infamous. The only other thing to think about is now that Infamous feels his pressure, he might make a mistake and get a penalty, immediately nullifying Hyper's problem.
Well, Infamous still not with that DRS. This could be out for the rest of the race by the looks of things. Not long left, 133 at 36. Hypers has the lead on track from Preshneider, then Infamous. Yeltsin's closing up a little bit as well towards this lot. He's brought in a couple of tenths, but probably not enough to catch up.
Hypers is in trouble now. Hypers is in trouble. His ERS is low. Yeah, he's burnt a lot of ERS, and now he's at a point where he has to make a decision. I have to start saving now. I can't just keep pushing, it's too late. Now is the point where you didn't get the gap you needed. Your ERS is pretty low. You've got 3 laps to go before you get to the end of this race. Preshneider is pretty much guaranteed P1 right now. If you want to try and impede that later, he has to just let Preshneider by and then go.
Your mid-race prediction could be bang on here.
Yeah, I got this.
Though you didn't foresee Infamous as having a DRS failure, so... He's doing well though, Infamous, to hold on to this little run. Half a second off. And if it just gets fixed any moment, he has a chance of catching back up, but he'll still get P2 as it stands. I don't think even if he had it fixed, he'll get P2 off, or P1 off Preshneider, should we say.
Hypers needs to let Preshneider go. He needs to do it now.
I think he's just quite happy to stay there.
Yeah, but he's looking at the ERS, he's burning. He's in so much trouble. I mean, realistically, he's fighting for the P3 no matter what now because they haven't broke outside of Infamous's DRS, but ultimately, Preshneider will help Hypers if Hypers can just let him by, but look at the ERS levels. That says everything. The story is right there. The person in pain is Hypers, despite the fact the person with the mechanical failure is Infamous. And it just shows that one penalty can completely change the way that this race has gone down. Hypers would be P1 and very comfortably P1 and would not even feel the need to push if he didn't get that penalty. That one mistake, that one too many mistakes caused him to get that, and now he's in big doo-doo.
All I'm going to say is not over yet.
Oh.
This is a track you've jinxed one of this grid in getting penalties. As Preshneider's made the move there on Hypers, he has gone through to take a lead of this race.
Look at the gap. Look at the gap. Infamous and Hypers, the gap is extending. He's still not got DRS. He's having to absolutely melt his ERS just to close in. And he's right on that limit of the 1 second margin. The 3 second dream is not over. But in order to really break that, they would have to do something phenomenal for Hypers to get P2. Just a reminder that we are running out of time for your driver of the day vote in the Twitch chat. If you want to get your vote in, ! vote in the chat is exactly what is required for you to open the link to the form, fill in the form, and then get your winner in. Right now, I still don't know who to go for. I have no idea. Pressure Schneider, probably.
To me, Infamous is stuck with his front two without a DRS. He's done an outstanding job. He's going to get second place, bearing anything major on this closing lap. And he's done a great job to keep there. But Pressure Schneider's done an equally good job just to sit back and lap it up. As Pampernick picks up a penalty, that's guaranteed P4 for Yelta, unless they have a coming together on the closing lap.
Yeah,
I think it could be almost an even split between Pressure Schneider and Infamous here.
Yeah. I mean, I think you'd probably give it more to Infamous because of the fact that he's had to put up with that DRS failure. And actually
he's gone for it.
Yeah. He's trying to force a penalty. That's all he can do. He's trying to force a penalty. He has to. That's it.
But it's too late now.
Yeah. The race is pretty much done. Well, I mean, he was doing it earlier just on Infamous. And then Infamous's DRS failed. And then Hypers went, oh, easy peasy, see you later. And then Pressure Schneider went, oh, easy peasy, see you later. And now look where he is. As we come through the second to last corner, Pressure Schneider, who had a rough race last week out, will take the final corner very cleanly, no penalties for him, and takes the 25 points with Hypers in P2, but gets knocked down to P3 as a result of the penalty. With Yolta coming across line P4, Pampernick P5, Zones will take P6. Yes,
Where's
Brownie. Oh, hello, Brownie. He shoots up to P5 by keeping it consistent. That is a 4-5 Renault. Get On will finish P8 as some idiot finishes P9. Yonti will cross the line and take the final points position. I don't think he has penalties, as Just Chilling will cross and take 11th. Danico will take 12th as Copy comes to the line eventually and will take P13 with Wemmels in tow. Copy jumps to P12 actually, so it is best of the rest ×2 for the Williams drivers, as Dennis will be the final boy, man, legend to cross the line, but will take a P15. Here we go then. And there it is. We did finally get the race done, and it did deliver, despite the fact that it was a DRS fest.
Yeah, and despite the delay as well, it was still quite an enjoyable race to watch.
Yeah. It would have been even more enjoyable had the penalty not been applied. But Nicholas Longe is your RNL driver of the day from the Twitch chat vote. 29% of you voted for Nicholas. I mean, he's not my driver of the day, but he's somehow managed to pull it out. I got a feeling that might be a sarcasm vote. But anyway,
him doing it over and over again.
Potentially, but Pressure Schneider gets P1, Infamous gets P2, Hypers gets P3, Yolta takes 4th with Brownie in 5th, Pampernick 6th, Zone 7th, Get On 8th, Samidiot 9th, Yonti gets final points position with Just Chilling and Copy getting the best of the rest drivers, 11th and 12th, Danico 13th, Wemmels 14th, Dennis 15th, Yenab 16th with your DNF as being Nicholas, Absinthe and Beaker. Leaves us with one final question for you, Amkasa. Who's your driver of the day?
Definitely not Crow. I don't have a dice with two sides on it, so I can't roll it. But Pressure Schneider and Infamous both deserve it in my eyes. Infamous drove outstanding once he hadn't got a DRS to hold on to the back of them.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just going to give it to Pressure Schneider instead. Sorry, Infamous. 5th to 1st. He took advantage of the Infamous having the issue and pounced beautifully on Hypers. Helped by the penalties, but yeah. Pressure Schneider.
No, I'm completely on board with it. I think Pressure Schneider absolutely secures the driver of the day vote. He played the game perfectly. He literally did everything he needed to do and more. Didn't have anything to worry about. Just carried on sitting in P3 until there was a mistake, made the capitalization on the mistake, and then ran off into P1. That was it. Job done. So, that's it for the Rwagnation League.